here we all are.
Hello.
And tonight, what we are going to discuss is this little monster in the room called How to Create Decoupage Paper. And with that, what I'm going to say is, have you ever tried to make your own decoupage paper? You failed. You had wrinkles, jams, runs. Then you gave up and you felt like you couldn't do it. Part of the problem really isn't you. No one has explained that the printer, the ink, the paper, the sealer, they all have to work together to be successful. Bet you guys didn't think about that. I sure didn't. I've not tried it yet. I've not been brave enough.
Okay. Time to jump in.
So, this is the Flippin' Bunch, and this is a group of ladies that love everything about flipping. We flip them big and tall and short and small. We flip them all. So we're going to start with a quick introduction on ourselves, and let's start way down at the other side with Levon. Then we'll go to Mara and myself.
She threw us a fat curveball there.
Yeah, she did. So that means I have to point when I'm done. But anyway, so I'm Levon from Statement Designs, and I am a furniture flipper. That always sounds like AA, and I'm a furniture flipper. But anyway, I admit it. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I started it whenever I had a shop, and I started carrying paint, and then I never really expressed myself that much. I used to draw and stuff when I was younger and in high school, but then I kind of quit doing that. And then I rediscovered my love of design whenever I started selling the paint. So that's how that happened, and it's been quite a journey ever since. Had retail stores, and just now putting my work in consignment shops and doing the YouTube thing, and brand ambassador for Made by Marley, among things that I do, and just enjoy it. Try to retire sometimes, but that doesn't seem to be happening, so that's okay. It's not supposed to, I guess. All right, Mara.
Okay, Mara from Borderline Furniture. And I love the way that Levon talked about, and I am a furniture flipper, kind of like, it's almost like an addiction.
Yes.
Like you go to AA and you say, I am an alcoholic. So you come on the Flippin' Bunch and you say, I am a furniture flipper.
Yes.
I got into this during COVID. This is strictly hobby for me. I'm trying to make back what I put into the furniture, and I like all things in their like really broken, ugly state. So, and I like to take things that are old, outdated, and change them. So that's the challenge. I love it. And I'm going to turn this over to Dar now, our host.
Okay, I am Dar from DIYs by Dar. I've been an artist all my life, just a furniture artist. The last 4 years, I have items in a local boutique. I sell online, and I am a brand ambassador for Made by Marley as well. So that's what we've got. And what we're going to talk about today is trying to make your own decoupage paper, the sealers, the settings, the printers, the printing, and at the end, some alternatives if it's just too overwhelming. So I'll take a look at, and I believe I've got like 26 slides, so it's not too terribly bad. And if you want copies of this program, what you have to do is text us at flippingbunch@gmail.com and just say, hey, can I have those slides from that decoupage creation episode, and we will send them off to you. So the very first thing that I am going to talk about is Paperweight, understanding GSM. Well, what is GSM? It's grams per square meter of your paper. And here I've got the three, well, there's a little bit more than three, but it's just the paper type description and the common uses. And tissue paper is actually 18 to 20 GSM. It's very thin and delicate, semi-transparent, and it's used for gift wrapping, craft projects, printable tissue for the decoupage. And the next one is the rice paper. You're going to get 25 to 35 GSM, a little bit stronger than the tissue paper, of course. And when we get to mulberry paper, which I know is Mara's favorite, it's 30 to 45 GSM. So you can see that it's getting a little bit bigger. And I'm even going to hit the copy paper because I think our friend Crystal used some copy paper before for printing out some labels that she decoupaged on some pieces. And that's 70 to 90 GSM. And when you are going to order some paper, it will tell you the weight of the paper or the GSM, and these are the numbers that you're looking at. It's almost like thread count on sheets. The higher the number, the thicker that paper is going to be, just like when you're buying sheets. And typically, I think, we kind of stick in between the tissue paper, the rice paper, and the mulberry paper. But there is one other that we use, which is called napkins. And where napkins actually fall is at 18 to 25 GSMs. And that is with, all the layers taken off. So you just got that layer that has the printed design on it. And I would think that napkins are not all created equal in quality. I'm sure that, you can get different qualities. And here we're going to talk about the three types of paper and the best mediums to apply them with. And we've got our tissue paper. I just have the three again, the tissue paper, rice paper, mulberry paper. And they're telling us that a matte decoupage medium is the best. And it goes through it and tells you the application look you're going to get, the working time you usually have, the strength after it's dry, how it conforms to surfaces, best for what you want to put it on, what you need to prep your surface with, and the key tips. When we get to the rice paper, they're calling for a gel medium. And I'm thinking that the wallpaper paste to me seems to be more like a gel type medium. It kind of almost has that gel look to it versus like the Mod Podge. It doesn't really look like that. And then when we get to the mulberry, it's also calling for the matte decoupage paste again, the medium, and they're always talking about the matte, using matte. And at a quick glance, it gives you a little roundup of everything, what the different papers are going to do for you. And we'll switch on over, and here's where the fun starts. If you want to print it at home, what kind of printer are you going to use? Are you going to use an inkjet, or are you going to use a laser printer? Because there are some really big differences, even in your own inkjet and the type of ink that you use. And for your inkjet, you're going to be what the cartridges are. They are going to be ink dyes or a pigment. And this printer is going to spray that right on to the paper. And the color quality is going to be bright and vibrant. and really give you really nice, vibrant colors, but the water resistance is not there. For the pigments it is, but not for the dyes. And I'll explain that a little bit more when we get a couple slides ahead. And go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, Jeannie has a question. So where does Made by Marley fall in paper weight?
Yep, I don't know. I am
Well,
going to
I'm looking at
ask
the
them
website
tomorrow. Yes, thank you for catching those comments, because I'm looking at these other slides and I can't get the comments in. So thank you, Levon.
Sure.
I'm going to ask them tomorrow on the live if Marty can tell me what the GSM is of Made by Marley paper.
I got it here. It says it's approximately 60 GSM.
Ooh, so she's heavy.
That's really heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really heavy. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks
And
for
since
looking that up.
Sure. And since you were just discussing the medium, they always recommend using Mod Podge.
Let's see, where does that fall in this paper? 60. Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be close to copy paper. It's just a little bit above the mulberry paper, but not quite as heavy as that copy paper is. And I think, that's why she's always saying that you need to use the Mod Podge to apply that paper. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, as far as mediums, though, for the tissue paper and the mulberry paper, or the rice paper and the mulberry, I don't use a gel medium. I use like a liquid sealer, like,
Yeah.
Jeannie's asking, how can I get a copy of these charts? So like Dar said, just we can send it to you. Just email flippinbunch@gmail.com and then we'll send it to you.
Yeah. And I did make these charts myself. They were, with the help of Chat GPT, I set up what I wanted in this comparison group. I don't know. We lost Mara and I haven't seen her back yet. She hasn't come back yet.
Oh no. Come back,
so
Mara.
maybe she'll get back here.
Hey, Bronnie.
So when you get to the laser printer, and what that actually is, it's a powdered toner that is heat fused to the paper. So it's going to go down and you can take a look at, once again, the color quality is going to be slightly flatter, but it's great for certain things, like using for text or like a newspaper type print. It's good for that. Something where you're just using more like a black and white, then it's pretty good. And we'll break this down a little bit more. Now, when you think about your inkjet and you think about what you're getting in your cartridges, and I'll talk about printers in a little bit, because my printer, the cartridges, the black ink comes as a pigment and the color ink comes as a dye. So it's two different types of things you're using to try to print on your paper, and it's going to be affected differently when you get it wet with your material you're going to lay your piece down with, or what you're going to put over the top. So
did you say you have a laser?
No, I have an inkjet.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about inkjet types of dyes and pigments first. Then I'll talk about the laser, what's there and how that works. So you need to look at what your printer type is. Is it a dye? Is it a pigment when you're using an inkjet? And laser printer is just going to be your laser printer type of material. So for the inkjet, the dye is like a Kool-Aid and water. the color is completely dissolved. It soaks into the paper fibers, and its colors are going to be bright and vibrant. But if it gets wet again, it's going to dissolve and run. Now, if it's a pigment ink, it's very fine colored and mixed in water, and it kind of almost acts like a sand. The tiny solid color particles sit on and in the paper, and then once they're dry, they're much more resistant to water. They don't dissolve like the dye, and the prints are generally, get the word here, generally more durable. So that's what you're going to get with your inkjet printers. You're going to get a dye or a pigment. So check what is in your printer cartridge. In my personal printer, the black is a pigment and the color is a dye. So it's kind of like a cross. So from there, side-by-side comparison with dyes and pigments. You know, I don't know, maybe you can get a pigment, I would imagine you can get a pigment colored for an inkjet, but the dye is going to be bright and vibrant in colors, and the pigment is going to be rich, but slightly more subdued colors. Your dye is going to soak into the paper. Your pigment are going to be tiny particles bound to the paper. The dye is going to smear with moisture. Your pigment is going to be much more water resistant. Your dye is going to be less UV resistant, and the pigment's going to be a better fade resistance. And dye ink is usually what is in the common home printer, and a pigment is common in a business or a photo printer. How are we doing? Any questions, Levon?
Yeah, Bronny says, my goodness, the cost of inkjet refills, and that is so true. It's very expensive. And I will say this, I'm an HP person, and if you use an HP printer, you can get instant ink. And what that means is you pay for a subscription. And instead of paying it out of your pocket every time you need a new inkjet refill and go into the store to get it, they mail it to you and you just pay per month. I like it so much better. And it speaks to your computer, so your computer knows when you're low on ink, and that's when they just send it to you. So that's my tip. I always like using HP for that reason. And Jeannie says, so you can spray a fixative on and then decoupage, which is
yes. Yep, I'm going to hit that. We're going there. And when I go over a few printers I use for examples, the ones that you actually have the bottles and you fill your cartridges, of course, are going to be more cost effective than like what I have in HP. And I have to buy the cartridges. They're more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So the laser printer, what is happening is it's like sprinkling colored plastic powder on paper and then melting it into place with heat. There is no liquid ink, and the toner is literally fused to the paper.
That's interesting.
So there again, like what it said is generally, so I'm not sure if I trust it completely that it's not going to smear, because I
guess there's no dry time. I guess there's no dry time then with the laser?
No, there is not. You can do it right away. The other drying time, and it may be a repeat when we get along here, is you need to let your ink dry for 12 to 24 hours is recommended. Then you're going to be spraying it. So
I don't have time for that. I've never done that, but
So this is where laser printers struggle. They get really hot. The fuser melts the toner onto the paper. The heat is why very thin tissue paper or some specialty papers may wrinkle curl, or jam, unless they're specifically designed for laser printers. That's why many people who print on tissue, rice, or mulberry paper prefer the inkjet compatible papers and inkjet printers. So when you're buying paper, and I know Levon has done it online with Amazon, I didn't add any examples of that. I just looked at them very quickly. But a lot of them, like the tissue paper, the rice paper, the mulberry paper, says ink and laser compatible. They kind of hit them both. So they got that covered, I guess. Unless it's specifically, you know, a breakout for a paper, like a printer that is a inkjet or a laser printer. All right, the simple fix.
Jeannie says she has one at work, but it's only black ink, but she's going to see if she can smear it.
Okay. If someone only has a die printer, like many home printers, you don't need to give up. Just print your design, let it dry overnight, give it 2 or 3 very light coats of a matte acrylic sealer before you decoupage it. And that's the one tip that's going to make the big difference for you.
Hairspray also works. I've sprayed it with hairspray.
I've never tried to print my own yet, but I've been thinking about it. And after the problems that Mara's had and Kat, she had some problems too. And I know Crystal, she figured hers out and she still got it to print. So that's good on her.
Well, I do know one thing. Whenever I'm printing with the rice paper, I have to print one sheet at a time. So I have some regular copy paper in the carrier, and then I add the rice paper one sheet at a time. So printing is kind of a slower process, but you know, you can't just put a couple sheets in and expect it to print, because it won't, because it's just texture and it'll grab it. So Bronnie said, my husband has an inkjet A3 printer. He's an architect. And she had a printing spree making giant 12 butterflies using his printer, drained his ink in a very small amount of time. And it was expensive, like $100 for the refills to put on his printing.
Gosh,
I bet he's thrilled with you.
Whoopsie.
Getting that made by Marley paper, you know, all the ink that they're using on that.
Yeah.
All right, 3 types of printing. Which one is best for decoupage? Is it the dye inkjet, the pigment inkjet, or the laser printer? So that breaks it down, and it gives you a little quick guide down there at the bottom on which one, you know, you should use. We've kind of talked about them a little bit. The color and the appearance on the inkjet is going to give you that bright, vibrant color. If it's pigment inkjet, rich, beautiful colors. Use this liquid ink with the tiny pigment particles that bond to the paper, but not like the laser printer, the next one, where they're actually burnt into the top of that paper. The colors can look slightly flatter with that process. And then the water resistance, of course, with the dye inkjet, it's going to smear. With the pigment inkjet, let's see what it says. It doesn't say total water resistant, but much more water resistant. And then the laser printer won't smear. Toner is fused to the paper. And it will go over drying times and best things to use it for, which I don't, you know, think we need to go completely in total that. You know what you want to make and you know what you want to print. So onward we go. All right, if you're creating your own papers with an inkjet, here's what's recommended. And this is with copy paper, after it's dried, 12 to 24 hours, 2 to 3 light coats of clear acrylic matte spray before you glue it down. If you've got tissue paper, or napkins. Let it dry again for 24 hours, then use a very light acrylic spray. And rice paper, let it dry 12 to 24. A light acrylic matte spray helps lock the ink in. And I can't imagine anybody wanting to decoupage with a presentation paper or a brochure paper, but maybe if you were printing something and handing it out and you didn't want it to run from water, you'd probably then still have to follow that same procedure for that. Best spray sealers. Some of the most popular choices are the Krylon Crystal Clear Acrylic Coating, Matte or Satin, Rust-Oleum Matte Clear Protective Enamel, Mod Podge Acrylic Sealer, and Aleene's Acrylic Sealer. So we finally get to that problem when that paper feeding in your printer, good versus bad. It gets going through there good and smooth, but bad and jams up. And here we're talking about mainly your inkjet, okay? Because the laser printer, you might be able to use these tricks I'm going to tell you with that if you're using a light paper. You want your paper to come out flat and smooth, and you want proper support in that paper tray, which is going to be whatever you're putting on the back. And why it works? The paper has support. It feeds evenly and stays flat as it goes through the printer. And it helps prevent the jams and smudges and misprints. And of course, bad, your paper's going to be wrinkled, flat, no support on it, multiple sheets are loaded, wrong settings, printed side facing down. My printer, when it prints, it comes out face up.
Yeah, mine does too.
So why it fails is the paper catches on the rollers, shifts or folds, causing jams, tears. So I guess that the laser printer can fall into that category as well, because you want to get that paper through there.
Bronnie says she saw recently that you should spray the front and the back of the paper. She said she's never done it and she's been fine, but it was a thought that she had never heard of it either. I never have either.
I don't know if it would really hurt, if you're doing it before you're trying to place it down, as long as it's going to be compatible with whatever glue you're pasting your piece down on. And I guess you would only know through trial and error, if you tried it.
So in the past, you mentioned copy paper. And I've done that. I've used copy paper before.
Same.
And I've found, then I have a inkjet, and I have found that unless I use Mod Podge, like if I use a liquid sealer, it will smear. But if I use Mod Podge, the smearing's minimal. And I try to just go over it quickly so that I'm not, just keep pushing that paint or that ink around, So I think that, that's without spraying it in the past. But yeah, spraying it, of course, will help. But sorry if Dara's already said you can use packing tape to tear off layers of copy paper from, I guess, behind after printing to make it very thin. I do that on my bottles so they're thin as tissue. That's a great tip. Glenda says she's used Amazon's rice paper and no problems with an inkjet. Yeah, me too. Jeannie says, I don't see anyone in the chat. Thanks for reading for me. Oh, if you might have to hit the show comments, but then it shows them on the screen. So it's up to you if you want to do it or not.
Yeah,
it's right up by comments. It's right up under comments. It'll say show on screen. Okay, Glenda says she used Mod Podge, but always sprayed afterwards.
See, mine is not giving me that option again. I think I had the same thing last time.
Well, we'll keep you posted. We'll keep you in the
Wait,
loop.
wait. I got it.
Oh, yep. Nice.
Sounds like my
Here you
granddaughter.
go. Sorry. Got to keep me in line.
All right.
I had purchased an inkjet printer to use that Amy Howard because the person that did the demo said, "Oh yeah, you can't use a laser, you got to use inkjet." And obviously when we did that demo, it did not come out well for me using the inkjet. In fact, I was so mad I gave it to my daughter. Said, "Here's a printer. I hope you need one, you know." But my laser came out great. But I did want to say I have sprayed before the copy paper to seal it, even coming off the laser. In not all cases, but in some I have. So it does work.
I know we've mentioned Ginger Chick Rehab many times before. I know she uses a copy paper all the time. She's always making labels for cans. And she does it all the time.
Well, then she's just going a step above what Made by Marley paper is then.
Well, I think she sprays it.
The GSM number of what copy paper is versus Made by Marley paper. So,
yeah,
you know, she's using a little bit heavier of a paper. And, you know, that's going to be also dependent on what you're wanting to put the paper on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you've got glass or something curved, and, you know, you need to get that to be bendable and, you know, stretch around it. You're going to go with, you know, a rice paper. I think mulberry paper starts to get a little bit thick, and you almost have to have a high textured piece to be able to get those edges to blend in, which I think Mara found out with her piece, but it still turned out really beautiful.
Thank you. What was I going to say about that? Shoot, it'll come to me.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just thinking about just the inkjet experience did not, and I could relate to the printer jamming up. Like if my printer, if it doesn't sense a certain paper, sometimes it'll jam. Like I try to feed tissue paper in, and I know other people have used this where you tape it down. Like I did it last year when we did the Halloween challenge. I taped the tissue paper to an actual sheet of paper, and I was able to get it to feed through. It took a couple of times. And I think, Dara, you also mentioned about the folding of the paper. Like if it's not completely flat and it's a little puffy when you
I got a really good trick for you guys coming up. You're going to like this one.
Okay. Well, it will fold over. And I did have that with some of my images. The paper just folded over when it fed through. And I even tried to iron it. It did not work. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. One of the tricks does involve an iron.
Bronnie, before you get... I was just going to say, before you get started, Bronnie says she's never had any issues with the laser printing, never. And she uses the cheapest of cheap copy paper that's matte. The cheaper and thinner, the better. So,
yeah. Yeah, you know, as long as you're looking at the GSM and you know what you want to cover and you're using, you know, the right medium to hold that paper down, you know, have at her. We're all different and we do things differently, and you do what works for you. These are general guidelines, and I have not tried printing my own, and I have been wanting to. So that was why I went ahead and tried to look at what I needed to do, because Mara was challenged with it. And Kat's been challenged with it, but Levon has come out pretty good with it. And Crystal's come out pretty good with it. So, you know, it's kind of, there you go, 50-50. So I needed a little more guidance.
Mara, I thought you were struggling with the blog posters. I mean, that was your main struggle, wasn't it? Or were you having issues with smearing or
No,
whatever.
it was block poster, and then I used that mulberry paper and certain parts of that paper because it wasn't completely flat. Was peeling up or whatever. It didn't sit flush on that
Yeah.
piece anyway. And
Yeah.
then printing, for some reason, my printer would not feed any paper, like copy paper or the mulberry paper. It just would not, wouldn't feed it. And so I had to go to a local printer. And then too, I know you've done block poster before, and there's like a little bit of an edge that doesn't print, and
Right.
I think there's a way that you're supposed to be able to do the image to where you can cut that border off.
Right.
And
Right.
I do it all the time. I cut the border off.
but for me, the image was missing on, you know what I'm saying? Like it didn't capture the image where that border was. It literally cut off the image. So
I've never had that problem. It always meets up for me.
Yeah, that was brought up with in certain printers when you hit the settings.
yes.
If it has a borderless setting, then you can hit that borderless, and it's going to take that all the way out for you on the whole paper.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I feel like that's a whole other subject than what we're discussing tonight,
Right.
but we should have that discussion sometime because
Yeah. I just had a question on
I've used it extensively and just,
Yeah, well, I'm going to hit a little bit on what settings are, but that's in that whole setting category of how you want to set your printer.
Yeah, but that's just it though. Your computer settings or your printer settings, when you go to print it, if you select the borderless, that is not the same as the settings that you're selecting in block posters, because you have to select it in there if you want that. But
of course. Yeah, of course.
Yep. Right.
If you're printing your own, you can set it if you've got a computer that'll let you do it borderless.
Yeah.
But it sounds like in block posters, they allow you to make that change if
honestly,
you want to.
I'd have to look at it. I don't think you can. I think that always prints the borders. Pretty sure, but I just always trim them. That's all I do.
Well, I did have one question on the 18, like the GSM, and I wonder, is that the same as pound? Like when I buy paper off of Zazzle, they come in 10-pound tissue paper.
I don't know. Look that one up, Levon. See if GSM.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it right now on my handheld information device, but I just wanted to see if you knew before I did that. Okay.
I was thinking that it was because they seem like they correspond with the weight of the paper when I buy paper, but I'm not exactly sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you guys look that one up. All right. This is pretty much what everybody, has tried to do is take their paper and just attach it to another sheet. And they're suggesting that you can either use a glue stick around the outside edge or double-sided tape, or just tape it, very lightly around the outside edge and get that piece as flat as you can and smooth out every wrinkle before you try to feed that sheet into your printer before you print it. So that is one way. Here's the one I love and I want to try. Use freezer paper as the carrier sheet. Many crafters actually prefer freezer paper because the shiny side temporarily grips the tissue without glue. You can iron the tissue lightly onto the shiny side, trim to size, print, and it should peel it off afterward. And then it's going to be a nice, neater method. So I want to try the freezer paper method and just put my paper down with the freezer paper.
Well, I mean, I guess that's if you're printing on tissue paper, to me, it's just easier to buy the rice paper from Amazon and go from there. That's just me. I couldn't be bothered to do that. whole freezer paper thing. But I do have a chart up in front of me, and it says there's a column that says bond, and it goes by pounds, and then the last column says GSM, and they're two different figures. So like
Okay.
bond says 2.7 pounds, GSM says 10. So it's not the same measurement, I guess.
It's not, yeah.
So that's
18
another good thing to look at then, like when you're trying to look at the GSM of a paper, you got to also consider the pounds of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, 18, I just looked it up too. 18 GSM would be thinner than 18 pound.
Okay.
Not the same. Not apples to apples there. Okay, the other way that they talked about was using repositional spray adhesive. And where I could see this working is if I took a piece of my heavy cardstock. Now that I know is 200 pounds, and sprayed it with the affixative real light, and then kind of put my paper down on there and got it all nice and flat, then it should come off, hopefully. I mean, I think it would be trial and error, because if you put too much fixative, it's probably not going to come off. So that's another way. And then, of course, it says a light coat is all you need. So don't put too much on there and stick it down too good.
Well, Bronny says, I think that maybe I'm just not as brave as you guys. The thought of tissue paper getting caught up in my printer, goodness, that doesn't sound like a fun day. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Kat meant when she said, oh, could have been in response to Bronny saying that she thought she lost sound because her cat walked over the remote.
So now when we get to the printers, some of them have oversized sheets you can print, like a legal size, something a bit bigger. And basically what they're saying is take your cardstock paper, and if you use your repositional spray, let the ends hang over. Just, it's just going to help if you've got an 8.5 by 11 cardstock in the middle of the piece that you're trying to print. Does that make sense? What you're trying to print, let's say the rice paper is going to be outside the border of that cardstock, and just use it that way. And hopefully the outside edges will fall down and go through right, because the main gripping rollers are going to be where that cardstock sheet is.
So in that scenario, you're not printing on the cardstock, you're printing on the rice paper. Am I right? Okay.
The cardstock is just the carrier sheet that you sprayed with repositional spray. Okay. So now we're going to just look at some printers real quick. This one is $600. It's got good color quality, low ink prices with refillable tanks. But you still got just the 8.5 by 11, and it's going to cost you $600. This next one, $750. It does letter and legal. I'm not sure if 11 by 17 is legal, but then it's saying it can go to an A3, 13 by 19, and give you borderless prints.
Wow.
And it looks like it has the eco tank, so you'd be able to fill your tanks. So that kind of looks like a nice system if you were going to try to sell some of your own decoupage paper designs. Mm-hmm. What do we got here? $750. It's an Epson eco tank again. You can do letter, you can do legal, 11 by 17, 13 by 19, which is an A3 paper, and it will go to a borderless print setting for you. A Canon business option. Or you want to say something, Levon?
I was just going to say, Kat says she so wants a real printer with pigment inks.
It is 600 to 700, refillable mega tank system, pigment inks, sharp, durable prints, excellent production, but it's not. Oh yeah, okay, it does. Refillable mega tank, 600 to 700. Oh, here's a bad one. 1,000. Professional fine art printer. Outstanding color. 9-color pigment ink system. Museum quality prints. There you go. You got your pigment. It's generally not going to run for you, and it gives you great quality, but it doesn't say it has refillable. Wait, higher cost print than, oh yeah, okay. It does not have a mega tank on it. You can't do any refillables. And I think here's my little dinky printer that I paid just under $100 for after I went and blasted the other one in my yard with a hammer. All in one. And doesn't have any benefits. No, other than your black cartridge is pigment based and your tricolor is dye based. So we get back to that break there. And what do I got? 2 more slides. I'm not going to go through all of these. This gives you a nice guide which goes through the different qualities for an inkjet, a laser, a personal printer, and then a thermal printer, which I'm not even going to go there because I'm not even sure the applications other than using in a business where you'd want a thermal paper, which is burning the paper. And the last slide with this is a good decoupage paper versus a bad paper, which is a whole nother show in itself on how you set your things up and how to put them with proper layout and good resolution, soft backgrounds. And on the bad side, now I kind of like the bad one. Doesn't look that bad to me. I
know.
No, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna throw them pieces out. I probably would use them somewhere. As far as settings, I'm just going to verbally tell you what they are, and then we're going to go to some pictures that Levon has sent in. And as far as what you can do if you've got a rinky-dink inkjet printer like I have, you always want to put your printer to the best quality setting. If you can match your paper type, match it. And if it says matte paper, use that setting. Print at your highest resolution. Turn off automatic color adjustments. You don't want any color adjustments. You want that color to be how you adjusted it with what you want to print, which you can. And they usually recommend you increase your brightness by 5 to 10%, your contrast by 5%, your saturation by 5 to 8%, and print borderless if your printer will allow you to. So there it is. Give you a headache? I tried to make it easy.
No, that was really interesting about setting the brightness at 5 and the contrast at 5. I wouldn't have thought to do that. So
I guess I've never done it. I don't know, but they say that after you get your design, like coming from Canva or wherever, the print comes out darker than what you're looking at on the screen. So the contrast and all that comes out a little bit different than what you're looking at on the screen. And I don't have any experience in that at all because I've never done it. So we're going to look at some photos that Levon sent, and she's going to tell us about them, aren't you?
Sure. Okay, so I just described each thing I did. So that one, so I was using napkin decoupage. So I took the ply that had nothing on it, and I used a transfer on it, and then did reverse decoupage on the plate. So that's how I got that image. So if you're careful, you can rubber transfer onto that blank napkin sheet and do reverse decoupage.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see that episode.
I think it
Yeah,
was on a
this one looks-
TJ Talk.
This one
Yeah.
looks familiar. This is a newbie. You
Yeah.
just had this one up.
Yeah, that was last week's video. So the decoupage sections are, I used ChatGPT to design it. I told them what I wanted and it came out, and I used block posters to, well, actually the front one, it was just a regular sheet of paper. I didn't even need to enlarge it. And then here's how things can get, here's how ink can run. So on the sides, I had used block posters and made it, it had like about a third of the paper again. So the design was like one sheet plus another third. Do you know, I printed that thing out a couple times, and between here and going to out to the garage, I got it wet and the ink just ran. It was terrible. So finally I just ended up cutting the design down because I was over it. I didn't feel like printing it one more time. So anyway, that's the story with that one, but it's rice paper. And I did paint white behind it.
So, did you printed all these on your own printer at home then?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you send it to block posters first and then it comes back to you? Is that how that works?
Well, you put it in the block posters program and then you print it out. Like the block posters enlarges it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to do it by sheet, you know. So like I said, the design that was meant to be on the sides was a little bit longer, but I kept getting it wet, so I just abbreviated it. So those designs are all, you know, on one sheet.
All right. I think I got you now. I think you did. Did we not do a show on block posters before? Did we?
We did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go back and look at that.
Yeah, because we went pretty detailed with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did use blockposters.com and rice paper to do this. And I did a photograph. So I just took this off my Instagram because I post this every now and then, because if someone has a favorite photograph, I can, you know, we all could do that. Just print it out, you know, enlarge it, print it out, and paint it on. You know, when I say paint it on, I had to extend, you know, the design because it didn't quite reach the edges. So, but yeah, it was just a fun photograph. My friend, I was at her house and she had her laundry on the line and we had been swimming and just enjoying a nice day. And I just took a picture, and she was moving from her country home too. So it was just a nice memory that was captured, and now it was her housewarming gift to her new home. So.
And this is one of my favorite pieces that you've done that I've seen. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you. I've actually had that said before from other people that was a favorite. So it's one of my favorites too, mainly because it means a lot, but it's just a different subject, I think, than we're used to seeing. We're used to the floral thing. This is just some laundry.
Very, very, very cool.
Now, this was just a digital download from Etsy, printed on rice paper, all cut out and fussy cut and decoupaged onto the trunk.
And then, of course, this is my other favorite.
And then this is another digital download from Etsy, my garage girls. And on
this one was Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna did that. She had me print it for her from Block Poster. She sent me the picture and I printed it, and she did a great job putting it together. I thought she used some molds, the snowflake molds, and gave it some dimension, and I really just love what she did with it.
Now this last one is a little video, and you can tell us how you did this.
So I did get to have a little fun. As I mentioned, I added decoupage paper to the sides. So I made my own decoupage paper, and I used IOD stamps, and I used tissue paper. I did it on my Tuesday talk, and here's some clips from it.
So that was just stamped tissue paper. Pretty cool.
Just stamped. Yep. And it didn't quite fit, exactly on that side of the piece. So I just crumbled it up, and then I made it fit. I put the decoupage medium, which I just used, liquid sealer, and I just put it around the outside first, and then just, put it on the inside and did it. So,
did you use Stays On ink for that?
I used IOD ink, which is also permanent ink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great idea. That was cute.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's the other one? Oh, I can't say it. Distressed ink. Don't ever seal over that unless you've sprayed it or something, because it is not permanent and it will run. Ask me how I know.
So all the pieces that you did there, Levon, that you had to download from Etsy or Block Posters, and you printed on your own printer with rice paper, did you then just attach it with a piece of tape then to the piece of copy paper, or just put the rice paper straight through?
Yeah, just like I said, I just keep the copy paper in the carriage. Mine feeds from the back, like the papers are standing up. And then I just set it in front of all the, like I have maybe about a 1/4 inch of paper in there. And then I just set the piece of rice paper in page by page. And when you are using block posters, you have to keep your wits about you so you know which one you're doing. I like kind of lay it out as I do it, so I know which sheet I'm printing. But yeah, that's.
So you're just sending that rice paper through like a regular piece of paper, and your feed's picking it up and taking it through without a problem.
Right.
Lucky you. And what kind of printer is it?
It's an HP. I think 3830. And I print a lot directly from my phone too. I use the HP. Let me see what it's called. So if I went to a picture, it's called HP Print Service.
Just get a printer like Levon has, and then we can just forget about everything I said.
Well, I honestly, the only thing I use this computer for is for getting on StreamYard and doing that. But, I really, everything I do, editing and everything, is from my phone. So even designing, a lot of times, like if I'm making, I totally did, like the people that I use their garage, he wants a piece of furniture done, and he wants it to say a specific thing, and he wanted some elements of other things that, so we just kind of designed it together, like established a certain year and everything. I did it all in PixArt, and then I'll be printing it from there too. So it's just for a drawer, so it really will just take one sheet of paper. So, and if I need to reduce the size of it a little bit, I can do that. So
lucky you. Well, let's talk about upcoming challenges. And I think this one is ahead of the Unique Antique Challenge. And Levon picked up on this one, calling all DIYers the Ugly Duckling Challenge.
Yay!
Hosted by Desert DIY, our lovely Corey. And that's August 26th.
I just happened to be watching her video today, and it's because I was being real lazy today. And I don't want to get off the subject, but I just want to tell you why I was being lazy. Because yesterday, my friend and I took our grandkids to this play park. It's called Urban Air, so it's like, they're running wild in a controlled environment, and, in socks and up in the air and everything else. Well, they had massage chairs for the adults. Okay, so we each put like $20 in these massage chairs. It was $10 for a half hour. We did it twice. Both of us today, we feel bruised on our backs. It was like it felt so good at the time, but today I'm like sore.
Now
I
you
got-
know why I'm missing my chair that's broken. I need another one.
Well,
I thought you were going to say you guys got on the trampolines or just
no.
something to crow about.
Oh. Now, I went looking for new chairs, and everywhere we went, and I'd say, nope, nope. I said, this has got to be a chair that rattles your teeth when you sit in it. And I have to be able, it's got to be a therapeutic massage chair, not just a little,
Trust me.
I need to be pummeled. That's the kind of chair I need. So we got Crystal's Unique Antique Challenge coming up, which I am the co-host on that one. That one's August 29th. So there's a couple back to back. You guys have enough time. You can get them babies in there. And
Yes. Join
anything
us.
you want to do, whatever floats your boat. Then the last one we got is Mara's. Let's hear about it, Mara.
This is the fourth year for the Eco Challenge, and this year we're going to be paint focused. So, use your eco paint and share with your audience how your paint is eco friendly. And then, of course, there's a theme, and that is the Tim Burton tribute. So anything that you feel lends itself to Tim Burton is game for this challenge. So, the image kind of says it all, I think.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, Bronnie and I, we got a movie that's a Tim Burton movie, and we're keeping it a secret, and we ain't telling anybody because we both found the same movie.
Oh.
So, all right, we'll wrap things up here. And if you want to send us an email or anything, ask questions, anything at all, you want a copy of what we showed today, this is where you need to send it to flippinbunch@gmail.com. Just say what you need and we'll get that out to you. Then the last one we have is if you want to be notified, well, you can get notified through the email. Just let us know. Say you'd like to be notified through the Gmail, through an email when our shows are coming up. Likewise, if you want to be notified by a text, just enter live to 814-515-4905. And I think we got it all. We're 3 minutes over.
Just a couple comments. Bronnie says she's going to try to do the challenges, and she wants to know if Annie Sloan is environmentally friendly, which I'm not sure.
Well, I think it is with low VOCs.
So. I'm thinking she is. Because I looked that up.
Chat GPT will tell you. Chat GPT.
Ask
Let me look.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
And next week, we are doing the craft store paint showdown. Ooh, I couldn't get that all out.
I would have put that graphic. I could put it up.
That's okay.
Annie Sloan paints are highly eco-friendly, featuring water-based, non-toxic, and ultra-low VOC formulas. However, or because they emit minimal odors and are independently certified as toy safe, they are an excellent choice for indoor projects and nurseries.
And
there you go.
Yeah, on any of the challenges that we put up, if you want to participate, when we do a review on these, and let's say you don't have a YouTube channel, but you still wanted to participate, just send us, let us know through that email and send us a picture of what you created, and we'll put it in with the rest of our pieces that we did create. You don't have to have a YouTube channel, just as long as you let us know. And if you can do that at least by Tuesday evening, so we have enough time to get those in the slides to show, we'll put your pieces up as well. So That's all I got. You guys got
All
anything
right.
else?
Yeah, we're good.
So I guess with that, if we don't have any more questions, we
Thanks
love
for
you
joining
all.
us. Yeah, we love you guys.
Love
Thanks
it.
for
Cool
coming.
bananas. I love it. Bye, guys. See you guys next
All
week.
right, we'll catch you all later next week.
Bye bye.
I guess I better end the stream, right?
Yeah.